"At about half," said the king, with a laugh. "But perhaps that'll be enough." "I think quite enough, sire," answered Sapt with a smile. The important matter of the dogs being thus disposed of, the king recollected that the count had asked for an audience on a matter of business. "Now, what did you wish to say to me?" he asked, with a weary air. The dogs had been more interesting. Rischenheim looked at Sapt. The revolver was in its place. Bernenstein coughed again. Yet he saw a chance. "Your pardon, sire," said he, "but we are not alone." The king lifted his eyebrows. "Is the business so private?" he asked. "I should prefer to tell it to your Majesty alone," pleaded the count. Now Sapt was resolved not to leave Rischenheim alone with the king, for although the count, being robbed of his evidence, could do little harm concerning the letter, he would doubtless tell the king that Rudolf Rassendyll was in the castle. He leant now over the king's shoulder, and said with a sneer: "Messages from Rupert of Hentzau are too exalted matters for my poor ears, it seems." The king flushed red. "Is that your business, my lord?" he asked Rischenheim sternly. "Your Majesty does not know what my cousin " "Is it the old plea?" interrupted the king. "He wants to come back. Is that all, or is there anything else?" A moment's silence followed the king's words. Sapt looked full at Rischenheim and smiled as he slightly raised his right hand and showed the revolver. Bernenstein coughed twice. Rischenheim sat twisting his fingers. He understood that, cost what it might, they would not let him declare his errand to the king, or betray Mr. Rassendyll's presence. He cleared his throat and opened his mouth as if to speak, but still he remained silent. "Well, my lord, is it the old story or something new?" asked the king impatiently. Again Rischenheim sat silent. "Are you dumb, my lord?" cried the king most impatiently. "It is only what you call the old story, sire." "Then let me say that you have treated me very badly in obtaining an audience of me for any such purpose," said the king. "You know my decision, and your cousin knows it." Thus speaking, the king rose. Sapt's revolver slid into his pocket, but Lieutenant von Bernenstein drew his sword and stood at the salute. He also coughed. "My dear Rischenheim," pursued the king more kindly, "I cannot allow for your natural affection. But, believe me, in this case it misleads you. Do me the favor not to open this subject again to me." Rischenheim, humiliated and angry, could do nothing but bow in acknowledgment of the king's rebuke. "Colonel Sapt, see that the count is well entertained. My horse should be at the door by now. Farewell, Count. Bernenstein, give me your arm." Bernenstein shot a rapid glance at the constable. Sapt nodded reassuringly. Bernenstein sheathed his sword and gave his arm to the king. They passed through the door, and Bernenstein closed it with a backward push of his hand. But at this moment Rischenheim, goaded to fury and desperate at the trick played on him, seeing, moreover, that he had now only one man to deal with, made a sudden rush at the door. He reached it, and his hand was on the door knob, but Sapt was upon him, and Sapt's revolver was at his ear. In the passage the king stopped. "What are they doing in there?" he asked, hearing the noise of the quick movements. "I don't know, sire," said Bernenstein, and he took a step forward. "No, stop a minute, Lieutenant. You're pulling me along." "A thousand pardons, sire." "I hear nothing more now." And there was nothing to hear, for the two now stood dead silent inside the door. "Nor I, sire. Will your Majesty go on?" And Bernenstein took another step. "You're determined I shall," said the king with a laugh, and he let the young officer lead him away. Inside the room Rischenheim stood with his back against the door. He was panting for breath, and his face was flushed and working with excitement. Opposite to him stood Sapt, revolver in hand. "Till you get to heaven, my lord," said the constable, "you'll never be nearer to it than you were in that moment. If you had opened the door, I'd have shot you through the head." As he spoke there came a knock at the door. "Open it," he said brusquely to Rischenheim. With a muttered curse the count obeyed him. A servant stood outside with a telegram on a salver. "Take it," whispered Sapt, and Rischenheim put out his hand. "Your pardon, my lord, but this has arrived for you," said the man respectfully. "Take it," whispered Sapt again. "Give it to me," muttered Rischenheim confusedly, and he took the envelope. The servant bowed and shut the door. "Open it," commanded Sapt. "God's curse on you!" cried Rischenheim in a voice that choked with passion. "Eh? Oh, you can have no secrets from so good a friend as I am, my lord. Be quick and open it." The count began to open it. "If you tear it up or crumple it, I'll shoot you," said Sapt quietly. "You know you can trust my word. Now read it." "By God, I won't read it." "Read it, I tell you, or say your prayers." The muzzle was in a foot of his head. He unfolded the telegram. Then he looked at Sapt. "Read," said the constable. "I don't understand what it means," grumbled Rischenheim. "Possibly I may be able to help you." "It's nothing but " "Read, my lord, read." Then he read, and this was the telegram: "Holf, 19 Königstrasse. 1,000 thanks, my lord. And the place it's dispatched from?" "Strelsau." "Just turn it so that I can see. Oh, I don't doubt you, but seeing is believing. Ah, thanks. It's as you say. You're puzzled what it means, Count?" "I don't know at all what it means." "How strange, because I can guess so well." "You're very acute, sir." "It seems to me a simple thing to guess, my lord." "Pray," said Rischenheim, endeavouring to assume an easy and sarcastic air, "what does your wisdom tell you that message means?" "I think, my lord, that the message is an address." "An address? I never thought of that. But I know no Holf." "I don't think it is Holf's address." "Whose, then?" asked Rischenheim, biting his nail and looking furtively at the constable. "Why," said Sapt, "the present address of Count Rupert of Hentzau." As he spoke, he fixed his eyes on the eyes of Rischenheim. He gave a short, sharp laugh, then put his revolver in his pocket and bowed to the count. "In truth, you are very convenient, my dear Count," said he. Chapter 6